Texas Stingray at Seaworld San Antonio is a wooden roller coaster manufactured by Great Coasters International that opened in February of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And I just love this roller coaster. It packs in a lot, especially for its size. It's not too tall, it doesn't have crazy stats, but I do really love this roller coaster. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing the full review on Texas Stingray. So let's hop right into the review. So the first category we will be talking about is height. And this roller coaster stands at a maximum height of 96 feet. And that is just really, really small, guys. Not even cresting the 100-foot mark. But I honestly don't even think it really needs to crest that mark, because this roller coaster isn't all about heights and really tall elements. I mean, the first few elements are, but this is like not a family coaster at all, guys. This is a thrill machine. There's great airtime moments hidden away in the coaster, and I honestly feel like this coaster doesn't need to be really tall, because most of the elements found on Texas Stingray are low to the ground, giving slight pops of ejector airtime. So for height, I'm going to be giving a 4. Now, the same can be also said about Texas Stingray's speed. Just like the height, Texas Stingray is not very fast either, clocking in at a maximum speed of 55 miles per hour. And that is family coaster speed, not very fast at all, not very impressive, but because of how tight the elements are, at least towards the end of the coaster, you receive some very strong lateral G-forces and great airtime, making the coaster feel faster. And that is the thing I love about small, compact roller coasters like Texas Stingray. The fact that everything is super tight, making it feel a lot faster than it actually is, making the 55 miles per hour seem like 65 miles per hour, because it feels a lot faster than it actually is. So even though the speed isn't that fast, I will be giving a 7 just because of how fast it feels. Even though it's not insanely fast, it feels pretty fast. And now here's something that I was actually a little bit underwhelmed about while getting on, but very surprised with after I got off. And that's the drop and how much airtime you get on it. If you're in the back row, and I mean the very back row, you actually get a very strong pop of ejector airtime going down that drop. Like, I'm not kidding, guys. It is very strong. And I was actually very surprised because it's not a very steep drop to start with. So I wasn't expecting too much. But wow, guys, like, it was actually a very strong pop of ejector. It was also hauling the day I went, so that helped. But very back row, you were literally yeeted out of your seat. Nothing like El Toro level or an RMC's drop, but still solid. So I'm going to be giving an 8. Alright, so you get a good dose of airtime going down that drop. But how much more airtime is there on Texas Stingray? Let's just say there's more than you would have expected. Texas Stingray, like most GCIs, has a lot of surprising airtime moments. And most of the airtime moments found on Texas Stingray aren't even within airtime hills. Out of every single bank, there's going to be either a slight pop of floater or a slight pop of ejector airtime. Towards the first half of the coaster, out of every one of those first banked turns, there is going to be a slight pop of ejector, but then nearing into the ending turns of the coaster, there's going to be aggressive ejector airtime. And again, this depends on the day you are riding. I was riding on a day that it was like 110 degrees, really hot, Texas weather, but it was hauling. So from my experience, I will be giving an 8 for airtime. Now let's move on to talk about the overall layout on Texas Stingray. So the coaster begins with a turn out of the station to the right going up into the lift hill, and this is a fairly slow lift hill. It's not very fast, and usually the ride operators will be playing music on the lift hill. For the entire day I was there for 2 days, but for the entire day, they were playing the Friends theme song, which made no sense because it didn't fit the theme to the coaster, but whatever. It was the operator's theme, what they wanted to listen to, I guess. But then once you reach the top, you look out at the empty parking lot, because I was there on probably the deadest day ever, and then you go down the first drop, diving down, and then right after that, following that, is a turn to the right, up into yet another turn, a banked turn, that you get a very strong pop of ejector on, followed by another turn. You get some floater there, and then an airtime hill, which you get some sustained floater, and then some more ejector, 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 and then here's the most intense ejector moment of the coaster right there. You literally yeet it out, and then more airtime there, followed by another airtime hill into a tunnel, and then after that tunnel, there's just a lot of tight turns, followed by a very strong lateral force moment into the brake run. And that is a very unique layout, very intense for its size, and a very unique coaster layout for a Texas roller coaster, as there are no other GCIs in the entire state of Texas. Now, something that you don't normally see on wooden roller coasters is a smooth track layout. And Texas Stingray really shocked me because this is glossy smooth. There is not a single rough moment on this roller coaster. Of course, it will feel like a wooden coaster. It'll have that rattle, that feel in the track. But for a wooden roller coaster, this is glossy smooth. Like, I'm serious, guys. There's not a single rough moment on this roller coaster. It just powers through the whole layout. No roughness, no rattles, absolutely nothing. Of course, you can still feel the wooden coaster. Like, you can still feel the wooden track profiling. But I actually like that. I find that it makes the layout more intense. It just makes the coaster feel a lot more intense with the wooden profiling. And yeah, so this is just as smooth as like Mystic Timbers and Ghost Rider. This is just unbelievably smooth. I'm going to be giving a 10. Now for restraints, GCI's Millennium Flyer trains, which are used on Texas Stingray, offer a T-bar restraint that isn't actually that bad. This is a standard restraint. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just okay. It doesn't bother me that much. The only problem I really have with this restraint is that it can come down pretty far during the ride, because this roller coaster, the restraints on Texas Stingray can come down pretty far during the ride. Unless you're holding up the restraint, it's going to come down as far as it can. So you will get stapled throughout the ride simply because of the restraint's design. But it doesn't bother me that much, because even when it's down the farthest it goes, you will still have a good amount of room. So for restraints, I'm going to be giving a standard 6. Alright guys, so the final score of this awesome GCI wooden roller coaster, Texas Stingray, is going to be an 8.5. This is a really great roller coaster. It's not the best GCI. I mean, I can't decide yet between Mystic Timbers and Texas Stingray which one is the best GCI, but I'm going to be releasing a Coaster Wars video on that topic, on which one is the best GCI, so stay tuned for that. But I just love this roller coaster. It's so well paced. It never lets up. There's no dead spots on this roller coaster. There's great airtime, great pacing, and a lot of great turns also. But when riding this, don't expect airtime, as that is not what this ride focuses on. That's not the sole purpose of this roller coaster. In fact, there's almost no airtime hills on this roller coaster. So all of that airtime is going to be getting it from all those banks, and from all the turns. There are a couple of airtime hills where you will get some good ejector airtime, but most of the airtime you'll find on this roller coaster are in those tight turns, and I just love that, guys. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's roller coaster review. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also comment down below what are your thoughts on this roller coaster if you've ridden it, and what other roller coaster should I do reviews on? Should I do any more roller coaster reviews from my past trip to Texas? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, stay on the thrill side of life.